everybody, and welcome back to SIMIAN JIMMY'S Treehouse Podcast, the only podcast that updates every week. I am SIMIAN Jimmy, joined by my co-host, Eggman Rodriguez.
It's another beautiful day, and in fact, there's even more beauty than usual. I'm seeing the sights and the sounds of Santa Fe.
And who is in Santa Fe? It's the one and only, living out of his van, I think on day 40, constantly live streaming the experience here on YouTube and TikTok and so many places. It's the Sleep Doctor.
Oh yeah, thanks for that introduction. Sir, I'm here in the van, live streaming currently.
Is it day 40? How many days has it been?
39. I think
39,
it's 39.
okay.
But I think we're there.
And what is the goal?
Pretty much to travel around to record relaxing sounds and to gain a community, a positive community, like rain sounds and whatnot. So,
is there a day goal, like 100 days, 300, 1 year?
Yeah, I mean, I think 100 days would be pretty cool. A year, or I have like milestones. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we should give a background to how me and Eggy even found your channel. Because we spent we spent a week in Florida visiting our friend Rusty Cage, and one of our new favorite hobbies with him was searching YouTube for just chatting live streamers and try to find people with literally 0 viewers, and then see their reaction when like 3 accounts just pop in and start talking, and 2 of them have like check marks in the name. Like you can click on Rusty and see, oh my god, nobody's watching me now. This dude with 2 million subscribers is just like talking shit in my chat. What is happening? So we were doing that to a whole bunch of people, and then when we found yours, it was by far the chillest. You were actually talking back to us and not just like reacting to AI Sasquatch TikToks, which was horrendous. Eggy, any thoughts so far on this experience we had with Rusty?
Yeah, I think we had 2 other sort of prolonged viewing experiences where people were actually, like reading the chat and things like that. And they were both like 2 young guys who were just seemed like romantically frustrated.
Oh, that's
so it's
right.
like, that's cool and all, but, at the same time, as for me personally, when I log on to see who's going live, I like to just chill out. I like the relaxation. Like when I would go live, I would play like disco music, get some lights flashing. This, what do I have my button? Yeah, get my thing going on.
Okay.
What's up, funky players and all the babes across the planet? I'm trying to. I'm just the way I see it.
You don't relate to a live stream where a young black man is explaining, all the different huzz that he's putting up with. Because that's kind of what the depression chamber is, minus the black and the huzz.
I mean, that's fair. I guess it was really, I don't know, there was just something about it, like, you could just tell those other guys were on edge. And Mr. Sleep Doctor, the prescription was absolutely necessary.
That's right.
A dose of vibes, and there was like an IV drip. So,
and I'll just say,
top notch.
I've only donated to a streamer once in my life. It was Jordy Jordan, Wings of Redemption. Me and Biggs were watching him while drunk one night in probably the year 2019 or 2020. And I said, can you give a shout out to my friend Biggs? And Jordy, being a 450-pound man who can barely walk, assumed, I guess, that I was making fun of him or calling him Biggs. So he didn't even do it. I wasted my $5. But then, inspiration struck. 5 years later, watching Sleep Doctor, I said, you know what this man needs? After all these hours of entertainment and me spamming the emojis, and then his chat reads it out loud every time, and it takes a full minute. He deserves one full dollar. So I gave him $1. Second time I ever donated. And much better reaction than Jordy Jordan, I'll say. He said, this Sleep Doctor, you said this is the first donation I've ever gotten, and I'll remember you forever. And I don't think anybody is going to remember me forever other than you at this point. So I had to have you on this show.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, my first donation in this live stream in the journey here. So freaking, and believe it, honestly, I thought you guys were trolls. Like
We kind of
thought
were.
you were just gonna. Yeah, so you were.
I mean, is it trolling when people are just having fun in the chat? I mean,
I
think
thought you
there's
guys
a
were just
line.
gonna be one of those people who just kind of spam the chat and then dip, you know. So, but I mean, y'all
what I
kept,
thought was extra funny was I donate that $1, you give a big reaction to it, and then Rusty says, "Oh, I'm gonna one up you." Rusty donates $14.88, and then
Yep.
since it's the second ever donation, it gets kind of a less less of a response. So I was boasting that over Rusty the whole time I was there, that my $1 meant more.
Nah, I
Well,
appreciate
And,
y'all.
and Eggy, you gave what, $5 or something?
I think it was it 420 was the recommended, as I recall. But see,
That's right.
for the audience, Rusty, he didn't deserve a reaction because I think his donation, he said something like, "Do not take that $1."
He said something anti-Semitic about me, which I thought was
said
rude.
you were like a Zionist terrorist or something
Yeah.
like that.
Not true. Not true. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm anti-Zionist, just to be clear.
Hmm.
The Rusty, he's trying to make me look bad with his racist number. 1488. Do you know what that means, Sleep Doctor? 1488?
1488.
It's like some Nazi shit. You know, he's trying to be funny, but really he just padded out your wallet a little bit with his racism.
Well, I have no comment on that one.
Anyway, that's enough commentary for me and Eggy. We need to hear from you. I did ask the patrons in the Discord. Hey,
Okay.
me and Eggy are going to interview a guy who's living in his van, and he'll answer your questions. But before we get to those, anything just off top of dome from you that you want to let everybody know about, what you're all about and what's going on?
Nothing much. Just the things I already said. Like, you guys said it already. Live streaming here, pretty much 6 days out of the week. Trying to build a community to record relaxing sounds for rain and nature sounds and whatnot. So, pretty much that's all.
Pretty simple. Okay. I'll just read these in the order that they came in. Charlie wants to know, do you know my friend Rachel, who used to live in a van?
Rachel. That's no,
No.
probably not.
Okay, I didn't think so. Fishy, he says, around how many faps per day? I mean, when you're in a van, I guess there's only so many things to entertain yourself with.
I mean, I'm pretty live streaming. I'm live streaming most of the time.
Yeah, I can't do that on TikTok anymore. So probably ground zero.
Actually, I want to maybe just put a little something in here about that. Not specifically about that, but there's been times in the past I've been streaming on and off for about 8.5 years or so, maybe somewhat consistently. And I kind of feel like sometimes, I don't make the best choices in life as far as like my health. I might be not eating right or different things. And people would maybe see when I was live streaming frequently for long periods of time, it was almost like it was like a little bit of an accountability thing. Like I knew I was going to be live, so okay, I got to freshen up today and I got to look this certain type of way and I got to make sure I'm, getting certain responsibilities handled. Do you feel like at all maybe the live streaming could perhaps have that effect for you and what you're doing, kind of keeping you on a certain path or a certain track?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, just knowing the fact that there's people who's going to be watching you and you want to make a good impression to the people who come. So it kind of gets me on my toes a little bit. But, since I'm not used to live streaming a lot, sometimes I make a lot of mistakes and I say some things that I don't want to say. So you probably need to edit that in the future or something. But definitely it does keep me on my toes a little bit. So
Maybe the benefit of streaming, 16 hours a day every day, is that when you do make a mistake and slip up and say some hard letters, maybe nobody's going to go through hundreds of hours of you sitting there and find it. So you're probably safe.
I hope so.
Like if I was going to make a documentary showing off your channel, I would just ask you, like, hey, can you send me your best clips? Because I can't sit through 40 full days.
Nah, yeah, for sure.
Not that I think there's anything, the documentary. I mean, what happens in a normal day for you? Is it really just hanging out with the chat?
Hanging out with the chat or trying to figure out, like literally researching on the dime, like what's around this area. And I want the chat to be in the kind of like you're with me experiencing this as well. So you kind of give me suggestions, or people could alter my reality in some sort. So
like people can live vicariously through you. People who can't go off and have an adventure because they're stuck at some shitty job.
Exactly. So you guys, chat can make a suggestion, and I'll do it. You know, nothing too crazy, but like I'll do it.
Did you have to save up a lot to even get the infrastructure for this van to live in?
Sort of. I mean, I was in the oil field before I was doing this, so
that's a good job to have, to take a bit of a vacation from working, huh? Like, yeah, well, I think I'm pretty set for a year or two. Time to go see the whole country.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of allowed me to do this, and I do have like support from my brother too, my twin. I'm a twin, by the way.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, he does support me too, and we're I'm just excited trying to build a community, so that kind of drives me. So,
well, of course, we will have a link in the description for anybody to go check out Sleep Doctor, because he's going to be there all day, every day for who knows how many more days. So he needs somebody to talk to. That's what we're doing this for.
Yep.
Hey, next question. Naomi wants to know favorite ice cream flavor, and I think we can all probably tackle this one.
Oh hell yeah! Mine, cookies and cream.
That's a solid pick. Eggy, you might be sick of it after we forced you to eat 30 cookies and cream candy bars a couple of years ago. Do you have PTSD?
Well, I don't want to say that I do, but I don't think that I've had cookies and cream candy since we filmed that, and it was my favorite flavor my entire life. But for
we ruined it for you.
Well, it's just maybe I haven't had the same craving for it. It's kind of like in King of the Hill when Bobby he smokes a cigarette and Hank makes him smoke the whole carton of cigarettes.
Doesn't want to do it no more.
But,
I guess he does still want to do it, doesn't he? That's right.
I'm still addicted to sweet, but it is what it is. But I think as far as ice cream goes, I'm gonna say butter pecan. I think is my favorite ice cream flavor.
Mine changes every time I have a really good ice cream, but long time I liked mint, and you know what? Brushing my teeth doesn't ruin that for me because I have strong mental fortitude. Unlike poor Shoji, who's now screaming, crying at the door because he has separation anxiety from his master, who keeps going on vacation without him. Sorry, Shoj. Okay, so 3 ice creams that everybody should go check out. Lumio wants to know, is it pink? And he didn't get more specific, so maybe he's asking if our favorite ice cream flavor was pink.
Hell yeah. I don't know how to answer that, to be honest.
I'd say probably no. I think most parts of my body are probably stained red from all the beet juice I've been drinking. So, unfortunately.
There's something I could make of that. Mr. Sleep Doctor, so you're out here, you're on the road, and maybe you're not near a grocery on a regular basis where you can go and have like all fresh foods. Is there a supplement regiment at all here to kind of keep all the nutrients at the proper levels while you're out here on the road?
Damn, that's a good question. I haven't really, just canned food, which is not really that nutrients, but like I don't really have a remedy yet. Maybe I'll get like a powder maybe soon that kind of has all that, vitamins and stuff like that. Maybe I'll get
Do you have maybe like a PO box or anything on your channel to where maybe one of the viewers of this podcast could send you their favorite multivitamin that they know is good for long-lasting nutritional benefits?
I do not have a PO box. And the last time I ordered like an Amazon package, I kind of like was thinking ahead, like, oh, I'm gonna be in this city, so I'm gonna order all my stuff at an Amazon counter. So I picked up all my stuff there. That's what I did, but I don't have a PO box, so I'm not. Any suggestions? I'm not sure.
So
How
they
the
could
van life people do
probably
it.
either donate the expected amount if they wanted you to purchase it, or maybe if they're tapped in, which they should be, tuning in, seeing where you might be at the current time, they could be like, boom, all right, I could maybe send it to a FedEx pickup or something at this particular time
Well,
frame.
is there a
and get
vitamin you
hooked up.
have specifically in mind, Aggie? Because I'm sure you could just go find it. He's an oil baron after all. Who needs these donations?
But hey, any support helps. I know
Yeah.
how it be. But
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, if I gotta give a recommendation, it's a little bougie, but there's a was it like I think they changed the brand, like the name of it, but it's like Rainbow Foods multivitamin. But the idea of it is, and I'm sure there's other brands that have the same idea, but it's a whole foods derivative multivitamin. So the calcium in it's like from a ground up eggshell or whatever. The vitamin A is from like a carrot.
Oh, wow.
It's not just like they're dropping in the chemicals into a tablet and pushing it in. It's derived from it. It's supposed to be like more bioavailable. So that's what I like to take for my multivitamin personally. I've had a couple different brands, so I think there are a couple out there, but that's what I would say to look out for.
So, folks, if you want to be as healthy as Aggie,
Yeah.
you know what to buy. Now, you guys both, I mean, for a guy who lives in a van and a guy who I think stopped going to the gym, you guys both have huge muscles. How do you manage it living in a van, keeping your body going? You said you had like a gym membership?
Yeah. So I use a Planet Fitness to take my showers. They always have like filtered water in the gym, and to work out at the same time. They have Planet Fitness everywhere, so I have the time to take a shower, whatever.
How many cities and states have you really stayed at so far, 39 days in?
A lot of little small towns along the area. Exactly the exact number, I do not have that on top of my head.
Well, just which states have you traveled through so far?
Oh, just two, just like my original where I lived, Texas, and then New Mexico. I'm about to go across to Colorado, so I kind of barely starting the journey here.
And do you have any goals in mind of where you would like to visit and stay?
The Colorado, Springs because of the views and I guess I could record some nice sounds over there. And California, I want to go visit California because some of my cousins are over there, and see what's around there.
If you can make it to Black Hawk, Colorado, they've got great hiking trails up in the mountains. Me and Aggie did some videos up there one time.
Okay.
And my uncle's from Colorado Springs, so I think, as I recall, it's been a few years since I've been out to visit, but I think around the Pikes Peak area, there's some good places to stop and hitch up around there. Like they got campsites that would be fitting, and I think that the scenery around there would be nice to get some shots and some sounds from personally.
Okay, I'll take that recommendation. I'll definitely take a look at that.
Okay, XX Panic wants to know, how many times have you been kicked off of location?
I'd say zero times so far.
Wow.
So, I mean, there was this one time when I was in Buc-ee's. Do you guys know what Buc-ee's?
Yeah, giant gas station? Sort
Huge
of.
giant gas station. Yeah. And I was there one night, but like I slept the whole night already. But the guy came up to me and knocked, and he was like, just letting you know, we don't allow it, but take your time. So it was like 9 o'clock before he told me that, and I was like, oh, already pretty much up anyway, so.
So he probably had
I guess
some
I'm not-
superior in his ear bitching about it, and he's like, I don't actually care. Like, he's forcing me to
Yes.
say something.
I'm not sure if that's considered, I guess that's considered kicking me out, or I'm not.
Yeah, if you said take your time, I think it's he's even on your side in that case.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, if you leave by 9 or not, yeah, I guess he's taking his time. So people are, society has allowed the van life without all this animosity and kicking people out. Like, where are you supposed to park and sleep, if not a Buc-ee's?
So, like Walmart's and Cracker Barrels, I like to go sleep at parks. Sometimes they allow it, and then most of the time BLM land, which is Bureau of Land Management. They allow you to kind of sleep there for like 2 weeks at a time at a single place over here. Mostly at the west side of the United States, they have a lot of BLM land. That there, and there's some like random parking spots, and there's a app called iOverlander that kind of shows you exactly where people sleep. So like a community of like van life, RV life people who kind of post where they slept and they had no issues. So we all use this app to kind of know where exactly we want to sleep.
Eggy, I know you've been pro Bureau of Land Management ever since George Floyd.
That's true. Well, and also I've also been pro sleeping in my vehicle because I used to travel more when I first started getting into my own streaming thing. I'd make a certain amount of money. I made more money than what I made for my job, so I quit my job, not knowing that was not always going to be consistent. But I tried to use that money I made to do some traveling myself, do some networking, and I didn't want to pay these exorbitant hotel fees. So I used to I'd be in my rental vehicle, and I would cover myself with my clothing in the back seat, and I would sleep in parking garages for about 2 to 3 hours at a time. And then I would move between parking garages to evade traffic patrol or whatever. So yeah, the fact that this app exists, I think that's fantastic. And I would say, me personally, I would be somebody who, although I'm not a van life person, I would get on this application so that if I'm renting, a compact SUV or at least a full-size vehicle, I'm a little large, so I can't do compact too well, but I would utilize that, I think, to maybe pull over in certain areas and maybe get a quick bit of shut-eye just to keep me charged up on a road trip or something like that. So that's really informative, and I'm glad to be made aware of this app. So thank you, Mr. Sleep Doctor.
Yeah, if we're planning on doing some sort of long-term road trip and we want to save a couple grand on hotels, maybe we can use the app and just sleep in the car and vlog the whole thing. Fuck it. That's part of the adventure.
That's right.
I don't think the settlers or whatever, Lewis and Clark, they didn't have no hotels to sleep in. The spirit of adventure is dead, and it costs $120 a night to kill it. Disgusting.
Yep.
Any thoughts on that before the next question, Sleep Doctor?
No, I got no thoughts.
Perfect. True T. Hage wants to know, what's your favorite crime? Not even one that you committed, just in general. I like stealing from Walmart, because fuck them.
Well, I used to steal back then, but maybe it would have been stealing, but I try to be a good citizen now.
Folks at home, would you believe this mature man is actually, 3 or 4 years younger than me? He's already beyond stealing, like, yeah, that's for kids. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm 30 and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But he's probably right. So what is your actual favorite crime then, if we've outgrown stealing?
Crime. I gotta get like some suggestions here because I can't.
What about like not paying your full
like any
taxes? You know, fuck, because all my taxes are going to Israel anyway to bomb Iran and poor children in Palestine. So what about tax evasion? Is that a cool crime, Richard Hatch style?
I don't know.
Not even that one. Hey,
what
do you
you
have any to jog his
hey,
noggin?
you say something.
Well,
yeah. Go ahead.
I'll just say that, piracy is really a victimless crime. Like I'll download a MP3 off YouTube, but let my legal record show to a 5-figure tune that tax evasion is historically my favorite crime. I think they're hiring like 100,000 IRS agents and they're firing them, whatever. I think they got enough going on that I'll be safe again for a few years, probably, hopefully. But let's see what else. Jaywalking. Listen, crosswalks. I like crosswalks.
That kills the spirit of adventure and freedom. You can't tell me where I can walk.
People wouldn't know this, but like maybe a few weeks ago, the city that I live in, they had to do a crosswalk repainting. They barricaded every single intersection that had a crosswalk for like 2 hours in the morning to let the paint dry. I was shut in. I felt like it was martial law. I felt like I was completely boxed in. I was suffocating. I was like, I walk outside and every single intersection around my home is all closed off.
You
I
can't
get
take the
anywhere.
scooter through people's yards?
I try not to because really there's only one good part. By the way, I ride an electric scooter around just because it's fun and also saves on some gas money, Mr. Doctor. But there's one yard that it's usually particularly advantageous to do because it's also near a bus stop, so there'll be like a lot of sidewalk traffic. But they're some good old folks. It's the ones that got the big smoker in their yard and they're out in
Got
the
some
rocking
Trump
chair a
signs
lot.
in the yard. Don't want to fuck with those people.
I feel like maybe they might have the old double barrel out if I was busting up their lawn too much. So I try to be courteous with them. I might just get off and walk my scooter past the bus stop, instead of tearing up any of their follicles of grass because they're out there often. So
They're watching for Aggie to come destroy their sod.
Probably.
So no favorite crime from the sleep doctor. How about stealing prescription sleep medication so that people can sleep?
Sure. I mean, you know what? After hearing Aggie, the crosswalk thing, I think I agree with that. I want to walk wherever I want to.
What about
Pretty close.
what is the crime of sleeping in a van in a parking lot? Trespassing? Like, fuck that. If you're not hurting anybody and you're just taking up one parking spot, who cares?
I like to go exploring abandoned places. So
yeah, I love that too.
So I'm not sure if that's a crime or whatever, but
trespassing, that's a bullshit crime unless it's my property, in which case I'm going to shoot you with that double barrel. That yard Aggie's talking about is mine. Anyway, Owashi wants to know, do you smoke meth? Now, to be clear, I didn't explain anything beyond this guy lives in a van, so they might have jumped to some conclusions about your character. I'm guessing you don't smoke meth.
No, I don't smoke.
Aggie?
I prefer it in the Adderall and MDMA forms, but let the record show I haven't been to a rave in about 4 years. But I will tell you, though, it's good when you're raving. Not the stuff in the bowl with the flame, but, when a Asian man with light-up gloves on his fingers, he's doing this. Then he hands you a white capsule, and you might stay awake and you might be awake for like 20 hours and want to kiss every single person you see. Hey, you know what? Maybe once or twice in life, it's a fun thing to do. I wouldn't get hung up on it, though.
Speaking of crimes and Adderall, I am not saying anybody should do this, but if somebody addressed something to Aggie that they didn't want anymore and it showed up in a P.O. box, I think Aggie might get it. But don't do that because it's illegal and it's bad, and I don't want that stuff.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, don't do that. Sandar _ wants to know, what's the worst place to park?
Worst place to park? I'm gonna have to get a minute to think about that one.
I would say if you're Marty McFly with your 17-year-old mother outside of the school before the Fish Under the Sea dance, that's the worst place to park because she's gonna try to get grabby and kiss you, and you don't want that because it's like kissing my brother.
I guess like near any place that's pretty loud, like a bar or whatever, next to a freeway. A couple days ago, I slept next to like a freaking stop sign, and so many people with bikes was like freaking making so much noise.
You know what South Park says about people on loud motorcycles?
What do they say?
Well, I can't say it here, but it's something I would say if it happened to me and I was sleeping. So yeah, anywhere with loudness is the main takeaway. Aggie, what's the worst place you've ever parked?
Well, for me, traveling on the East Coast is particular. I'd say probably the Northeast, but maybe like everything north of Georgia, perhaps, because these old places, just out of the fact that they were constructed, that they were like the first cities and everything, very dense, very compact. Like I did a lot of work in Rhode Island over the years, and in Providence, you just have every single street is very narrow for one, and you'll have just back-to-back cars parked all the way down every single block in the entire city. If you can get a parking spot, like before they had the reverse cameras and all this stuff, and they got these sensors now and everything. Really, any of these tight parking spots are down in down in Charleston. I went down there before. It was very nice, but once again, just very tight and crammed, and it's not even so much of to sleep there, because I was sleeping in the parking garages and all that. That was cool, but for just standard parking or trying to get a parking spot, I remember back in the day, Seattle, I think, was kind of, certain parts of it, depending on where you're at. But that's my main complaint about parking in my lifetime, is I do not like having to circle around an entire city looking for a parking spot. Everything's crammed and all that. And the Northeast, maybe south of Maine, tends to have that problem in my experience.
A couple months ago, me and Aggie went to Chicago, and the parking is a nightmare. They treat every inch of space like it's holy, sacred ground, and I think it was $80 a night to even have a shitty parking spot in a parking garage that was mostly empty anyway. That was attached to a hotel. You would think a hotel would have free parking. No. But this last weekend, I went to Kansas City, and I've never seen so many free parking garages. It's like they are encouraging people to go use their downtown and to go to all the bars and actually have fun and enjoy life. And there were no tickets, no times. I could have just stayed in that parking garage downtown in the prime location for free forever. I don't know how they do it. I've never seen anything like it. Every single square block had a parking structure that was free like this. So I had a great time in Kansas City. I might never go back to Chicago. And the food was better. Is Kansas City low-key the best Midwest city, Aggie?
Probably. Because what comparisons we have? I mean,
Chicago and Des Moines
really
are dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
St. Louis, maybe?
I don't think there's really any reason you ever want to go to St. Louis.
I went up in the Arch or the Arc when I was a kid. Is it an Arch? I think. Yeah, not Arc.
Yeah.
Is this Kansas City a smaller city, or I've never been to none of those places, so just.
I wonder if it's in the top 15 of the country, but it's on the border of Missouri and Kansas, so it's kind of big. But everything I wanted to do was within like a 15 to 20 minute drive, and the traffic was amazingly good. So again, I think it might be the best city.
Have you visited San Antonio?
When I was a kid, is that where Schlitterbahn is? The water park? Yeah. I was there when I was 10, yeah.
10? Oh. Well,
it's been 20 years.
Gotta go during Christmas time, during the river walk. I suggest that. It's a nice time.
Is that near Austin? Is that where our friends live, Aggie, Austin?
Yeah. I think considering the size of Texas, I want to say it's relatively close, because I got invited out to San Antonio maybe about 6-7 months ago. 6-7 months ago, and I think I looked at it in proximity to Austin, because I figured I'd probably go out there to try and double up on the reasons to go visit.
Sleep on Keno's couch and do his dishes for him.
Yeah, so a little bit of a drive, I think, from Austin, but once again, relatively speaking, as I recall, I could be completely wrong, but I think considering the size of Texas, because I had to drive from Austin to Dallas one time, and I'm thinking, what is two big cities in the state, and what is like a 2.5 hour drive each way? It's Texas is a big state, and since you can get around.
Kansas City was only a 3-hour drive, 200 miles pretty much. Knocked that one out real quick. But did you look up how big the city was, Aggie? Is that what you were looking up?
Yeah, so Kansas City, Missouri in the 2023 census recorded a population of 510,704 people. So
not even 1 million people. Well, that's the ideal city. No traffic. I went to this place called the Puttery, which is after 5 o'clock, it's an adults only mini golf bar, so that you're getting just constantly drunk on these cocktails and playing great mini golf. They have like 27 holes or something. I was nailing all of them. Great, amazing museum. The Thinker, Aggie? one of my favorite fucking statues because of Bobobo. He would turn into the Thinker, and Beauty said, he turned into the Thinker! Loved that as a child. It stuck with me for, again, 20 years. I go to this Kansas City Nelson Atkins Museum. Oh, free museum. I'll go check out some art throughout 5,000 years of human history. Right out front, next to the world's biggest shuttlecock sculpture, the fucking Thinker is there! Aggie, literally the Thinker is 3 hours south of us. I had no idea. What is it doing there? I couldn't believe it.
And the Cat in the Hat car from the Cat in the Hat movie is like 4 hours to the east of us. So,
yeah, that'll be our next museum.
The Midwest, you could say what you want about it, but we're in the center point to where, like, where at least we're not over in the Carolinas, or we're not in California where we got to go all the way, where we can kind of go an equal amount of the way to anything. So.
Yeah, only 10 hours from Colorado. So if you want to meet us in Colorado and don't waste your time coming here, Sleep Doctor, we can just meet you there. We can meet you at Blackhawk. Hit the casinos.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's freaking party. Freaking party up.
If you're going to be there in the summer, is that a good time to go hiking in the mountains? Would it be like 80 degrees up there, or would it actually be...
In Colorado? I don't think so. I think it's comparing it to Texas, I've lived there all my life, so, comparing that to Colorado, nah, it's pretty fresh.
Might be good hiking weather in July.
Yep, I think so.
That's my new birthday bash, mid-July. We're gonna go meet Sleep Doctor.
Well, we can just say right now, at the 10-day forecast, it's like mid-60s highs in Blackhawk.
I would love to hike on a mountain in the mid-60s.
Seems like good weather.
Okay, we got plenty more questions to go through. I'll try to rapid fire them since we're almost 40 minutes in. Dewdrop wants to know why you don't just buy a house.
Well, I could always buy a house on a motor. I'm young. I got energy.
A house cannot travel the entire country. You're kind of just stuck in one place. You'd be like me and Eggy, other than when we go to Florida and Kansas City, just cabin fever it up.
Yeah, it's house on wheels.
That's right.
I have a house.
And then he follows up, just kidding. Ask him what spots he thinks is best to get away with overnight parking. I guess we already did that.
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel. I didn't know that they were friendly to travelers. And they have some pretty good bland American-style food.
Yeah, they have like big RV spots too. So big RVs could even sleep there.
Does Cracker Barrel at every table have that little triangle puzzle with the pegs, and you have to like jump over the pegs or something? How does that game work?
Dude, it's been a while since I've been in there.
The shit your grandparents would make you play with? Like, back when I was a kid, this was our Game Boy. Fucking just pegs in a triangle. Okay. Vegan Rotom says, how important is the Five Nights at Freddy lore to the van living lifestyle?
Oh man, I used to play that way back then. I love it. I love the game. Shoot, I will probably even stream it one of these days too. I don't know. Who knows? Anything's possible.
Did you see the film that came out?
I did. Yeah, I thought it was okay.
I think that streaming Five Nights at Freddy's in the van, like after dark, would go crazy. That's just my personal opinion. Like, it's perfect ambiance.
Yeah, especially when you can see the starry night through the windows behind you. You had some really kino shots, like when you were driving and there's like the sunset coming through the windshield. So, do you have like a history in like photography or something to get all these cinematic shots? No, you're just doing it for fun.
Yeah, I just turn on the camera and whatever it shows, I don't have no history on that.
You just get lucky as hell.
Yeah.
I guess you can't really see when you're driving what the stream looks like, but like we were mesmerized one night, and that might have been based on what Rusty was making us imbibe, but still, true Kino. So, are you a fan of the Five Nights at Freddy lore, or is it more just the gameplay?
The game, I guess.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know anything about it, and I don't care. The Zonky says, gun to your head. Oh man, you don't have to answer any of these, by the way.
Do it.
Gun to your head, if you had to fuck a dog, which breed would you choose? Now I'm going with Scooby-Doo because he can speak English, and that's the only way to get consent. If he says no, I'm not doing it.
Iggy, you say
Yeah,
something.
he's putting this one on you, Iggy.
So thankfully, there was just a viral interview with the 28 years later. Is that what it's the one it's on now? Directors with Corone, the dog VTuber waifu, dog girl. So that's gonna be my answer. Corone, listen, I remember back when she was
Oh, the
playing Super
human who
Mario
pretends
Maker.
to be a dog.
Hey, dog girls, that's a breed as far as I'm concerned. VTuber anime, she's got
Probably
a good
would have been a better
personality.
choice than Scooby-Doo.
Not supposed not supposed to lewd the VTuber waifus or whatever, but I've been out of that game for probably 5 years, so I don't really care anymore. So I'm going Corone.
Is there like a super dog or some?
Crypto the super dog. Yeah, it's Superman's dog. He's in the new movie.
He's a male though, right?
Yeah, you don't want to have
Or-
gay dog sex. We better find a female dog. A real bitch out there.
Maybe a shapeshifter or something. A person who shapeshifts
That's
to a
fair.
dog. I don't know.
I think that's the best possible answer you could give. Anything other than Scrappy-Doo is probably the right answer. Don V wants to know, what's your favorite anime?
Ooh man, I haven't watched anime in a while, but I'm just gonna throw in the Dragon Ball Z tournament. I think the tournament one. Yeah, I'll say that one.
I recently went through Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z for the first time, and then also GT, and what did we watch, Eggy? Daima? Was that the new one?
Yep.
Complete dog shit. Toriyama, whoever, I guess is the last thing he worked on. Maybe he should have died just a few months sooner. Somebody else could have wrote that. Favorite animes, Eggy?
Well, obviously, the genre-defining, slow-burning, character-driven, atmospheric kinography that, shaped a generation. It's called Welcome to the NHK. Experience and mileage may vary if you weren't a teenager in the mid-2000s like I was, but, I'm always, speaking of tournaments, tournaments are just always good in anime. There was one I used to watch that was like The Greatest Disciple or something like that, Baki or Bakshi or something, I forget exactly what, but that was pretty good. Yu Yu Hakusho, I like the tournament and the supernatural angle there. I mean,
gotta
it's,
say, Eggy, Yu Yu Hakusho, could not get into it. Supposedly the best tournament arc in anime. That's when I fell off because there were no stakes. They're just throwing all these random characters at us, and I'm like, why do I care if we win this tournament? What are we even doing? It just didn't matter.
It's the battle
Yeah.
for life versus the demon realm or whatever it was, So, but yeah.
What
That
do you
show
guys
peaked in
recommend?
episode 1. But what were you saying?
You guys
Steve?
recommend something? I was saying, yeah. You
We're
recommend
both
something?
really into One Piece. If you have a lot of free time on your hands, you could
Oh.
read the One Piece manga. The anime would take way
Right.
too long, but...
My brother, my big brother, he watches that.
Oh my
He tells me
god!
to.
Does he want to come on our podcast? We do a One Piece podcast every week.
I'll tell him.
Yeah, invite him on. We'll get the whole Sleep family. Is he also a
All right.
doctor of some kind?
Heck no.
The
Nope.
anime doctor?
Nope.
But other than One Piece, because I don't want to recommend just the longest one. Let's see. Have I read anything worth recommending in terms of anime or manga? That's a toughie. They're usually not very good.
Well, Mr. Doctor, you ever have any care for anything like Dungeons and Dragons style, like wizards and warriors and that type of deal?
I'm open-minded. I'll see what's up, but
My favorite anime that is of that sort of style, like Slay the Dragon, Beat the Wizard, it's called Record of Lodos War. It's got a little bit of a cultural resurgence over the last decade or so because of a character named Deedlit, who's like this elf girl that women like to cosplay. But there's a couple different There's an OVA and then an original 13-episode series for Mr. Doctor and all the viewers at home. The original 13-episode run is far superior, but the OVA does have something called Lotus Island, where it's like a little chibi series that's at the end of each episode. That's a lot of fun. But for just getting into it, I would say the 13-episode run of Record Lotus War is where it's at for that type of environment.
And I'll recommend actually just a movie. I recently watched Lupin III, Castle of Cagliostro, and it's not even good as an anime movie. It's just a good movie. I think it inspired a lot of action movies in the decades that came after. And I think it was, what's his name's first movie? No, not Toriyama. Who's the fucking Kurosawa? Is he the Studio Ghibli guy? I think he directed this movie, so pure Kino. Next question. Citizen Payne wants to know, what's the best upside to living in a van and what's the worst downside?
The best is to be able to explore and experience all over wherever you want. I think the biggest downside, all the van life community or whatever, whoever travels, the loneliness would be the biggest downside, but I kind of cope it with kind of live streaming with people coming in. That's how I do it. So that's why a lot of people have like pets and dogs and animals in their vehicles to talk to or whatnot. So I think loneliness would be the biggest downside.
Are you against getting a dog or a cat?
I feel like I'm not against it, but I don't think I would do it because I kind of want to take the stream and not worry about my dog in the van or whatnot.
I have 4 cats myself, so I'm always supporting people getting cats, but I don't know if the cat would like living in the van, I guess. But it seems kind of spacious in there. There's probably lots of shelves for it to jump up onto and all that.
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of van life people kind of take their cats on the road with them.
I bet Shoji would love that since he gets mad when I'm just in this room without him. Do you try to go out and talk to people in real life, or do you just kind of stick to streaming and stuff?
I try to kind of talk to somebody if they're there, or I kind of talk to the locals and tell them, what do you recommend me to do around this area? That's something I have like a little excuse to kind of talk to somebody, whoever's nearby. So
speaking of recommendations, I should say, if you're in Kansas City and you want good barbecue, it's called Q39. They told me it'd be a 40-minute wait. I said, okay, let's do it. And then I got the text 3 minutes later that my table was ready. So, you know, if you're in line at Q39, stay in line, folks. It won't be that long. And maybe the best burnt ends, most juicy, delicious, moist. Oh my God, delicious. I think me and Iggy might have to go to Cornbread tonight just so I can get perhaps a lesser version just to whet the appetite of that delicious barbecue. What is your favorite kind of food to eat while you're out and about?
Well, I do like burgers. Something simple. Well, right now I just got an air fryer, so I kind of throw whatever in the air fryer, and like I just ate frozen pizza. I'm not a big cook, so a loaded potato, tacos. I eat a lot of tacos. It's easy to throw some meat there and whatever, just to eat something quick. So I guess that would be my favorite.
Do you have a microwave in there?
Sandwiches. Microwave? No, I don't. I just use the air fryer.
No refrigeration at all? Do you have like a cooler?
I do have a 12-volt fridge to keep all my stuff cool.
I got a little fridge back there as well that I don't even have plugged in because I realized there's not really much to put in there. But it's nice to have another surface, I guess, in the room.
That's right.
And I'd always unplug it because it was like the motor was so loud for podcasts that it was like, fucking goddamn it, what a waste of a purchase. Has anybody compared you to Matt Foley from SNL? Is that the guy who lives in a van down by the river?
I don't know who that is. I never
Is that
got compared.
Chris Farley character, Aggie?
Yeah, he's the motivational speaker who, he says, comes in and he does like this. You're gonna live in a van down by or maybe he lives in the van down by the river. I can't remember.
The great irony is back in that day that seemed like a bad fate, but these days it's the truest freedom. I don't have these corporate shackles, and I basically the closest thing to real life One Piece. Again, to bring it back to you should read One Piece, is it's a story of people who just get on their pirate ship and go from place to place and don't have jobs and don't give a fuck and just do whatever they want. And as YouTuber podcasters, Eggy, other than my cats keeping me here, what is our excuse for not exploring the world more? Are we going to regret this in our old age, that we just spent our early 30s sitting in these offices when we could have been, climbing more mountains?
Well, to be honest, I think probably like 2017 to 2022, like my maybe primest streaming years. I mean, I did travel pretty frequently and do a lot. So I might have got it out of my system. Not necessarily, because I always like a good trip. I always like seeing and finding anything new, and even if I haven't been somewhere for a while, I like to go back. But as soon as I started getting that sort of independent, non-standard income, I was in California like 3 different times. I went to Texas multiple times, Rhode Island multiple times, Florida, Georgia, and just kind of places that I wanted to go. So
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
So I guess that'd probably be my biggest thing right now, is I kind of feel like I've seen and done a lot. If there was something that I really wanted to see, I would probably just go and board a plane. So,
are you going to Fake Creator Clash 3? Is that still going on?
I don't think that the plane is going to fill at all. I keep looking at it, and the seats have been available for the last 3 days, but I think it's been 3 days since Rusty said, let me make sure that there's a spot for you at the Airbnb, and he's never said anything since the last 3 days. So
he probably forgot. I've been waiting 3 days for him to send the master shot of our couch video, and he's just not going to do it. So I'm working with the other 2 shots that I have, and I made my own master shot. So, Rusty, reliable in person, I guess, but not so much once we're back home.
Yeah, and I kind of figure, maybe if I hear from him, like I said, it's
Turkey
been
Tom is
5
going to be there, and he offered you to live in his house, right? Just fucking message him and ask if there's an open spot. Rusty's probably too drunk to answer.
That's pretty true, yeah, and Tom's been posting pretty frequently, because I think we were just at VidCon and having some big party over there this last weekend. But just the last 3 or 4 days or whatever, there's been 5 open spots on that flight every single time I look at it. So I'm guessing it's probably gonna just stay like that. So if I hear anything by Wednesday, I'm staying open to it. But if I don't,
no, you can't rely on drunks. If you gotta take the initiative, Eggy, and say, I want to go do this and hang out with these people, and can't rely on Rusty. Just hit up anybody else, I'd say.
And I found out that the Des Moines airport parking is only $7 a day, so I wouldn't even.
Oh,
have to
Eggy,
bother
I
you
could
to-
take you. Don't even worry about parking or nothing.
Okay. Yeah, maybe
If I can't take my friend to the airport, what good am I?
I got a question. I'm not sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not sure. It's my first time doing a podcast, so I don't know if I'm supposed to ask questions or whatnot too.
You can say anything, anytime on this show.
Okay. So you guys are full-time content creators, or do you guys work?
I don't think I've had a job in 10 years. So yeah, mostly just YouTube income.
Oh wow, well, shit. That's cool. What about you?
Well, I was a full-time streamer for about 5.5 years or so, 2017 to 2022. But I did, hypothetically, because YouTube gets they don't like certain. Hypothetically, I might have gotten banned from 5 different channels because I was just possibly to a fault. I would just let my audience basically dictate whatever they wanted. Oh, you guys want to watch a full movie? Okay, I'll pull it up. Oops, I got banned. They say, this is a funny link. Click on it. I click on it, and it's a pornographic image or whatever. I just got banned again. Stuff like that. But basically, took a few too many hypothetical bans, and the income got a little throttled because I didn't, I didn't get the same views and whatever after a certain point in time. I did go back to work and kind of got myself back on my feet, kind of got, stabilized for about like 2 years or so. And then once I kind of got myself stabilized, I kind of went back and gave it another good try, and it's doing pretty all right. I did step away for about the last 5 months as far as streaming goes, because I had a good stint as a professional gambler where I was making more money for less work. And
also people pay us specifically to review stuff together. So, and we get like 2 or 3 of these orders a week. So he's, supplementing the income with that as well.
That's right. And for full context, I was once again kind of dwindling a little bit from the banning, but maybe a month and a half ago or so now, I got one of my larger channels back that has like 12,000 subscribers, was unbanned. So actually, I think just within the last 24 hours, I think I've decided I kind of have to hang up the professional gambling because it's starting to get a little to where the odds are not as profitable. So I think now that I have that consideration.
Could it be, Aggie, and not to be conspiracy theorists, but you said that casino website that you were taking advantage of for months to make hundreds a day is based out of Israel, and literally as soon as they start a war with Iran, the casino website stops functioning the way you need it to, and now they're trying to nickel and dime you and actually steal your money instead of vice versa. Is this just war profiteering online, stealing the whole world's money gambling?
Well, it could be, because I think it was probably just about 5 months ago, maybe to the day, when I hit like my first like $300 or $400 day, and I was like, okay, there might be something to this. And now I think in the last, it has been continually to where they've been restricting it and they could have done a lot more though. So it's kind of weird because they allowed us to sort of make so much money, but now just within the last, I would say even couple of weeks, they've added more and more restrictions. Now in the last day, they amped it up even again to the point where, I'd probably have to risk to maintain staying in the game. I would probably have to risk a few $1,000s, and it just doesn't really make. Considering that they've changed the requirements and the odds and things, and they've added more restrictions so consistently in such a small time frame, I don't think that I would probably be so likely to be able to pull that few thousand back from them easily again like I already did. So I think I'll probably just all my bills are paid for months from this gambling money, and I could just do whatever I want. So actually right now, I should say, even more so than streaming, I've been doing music for in some capacity, I would say, like definitely over 10 years. So I'm actually, what I am planning on doing more so than streaming is taking some time to work on music. So I have all my bills are paid from this gambling money and everything. I'm comfortable for a bit. And I think I'm going to spend that time working creatively more so than just going live and fooling around. So that's my plans right now. But yes, for the most part, in the last 10 years, I've probably had a regular job for maybe like three and a half out of the 10 years.
What'd you do for the regular job, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, before, like way back before I really got into streaming, I was like a gas station guy for a lot of years. I did like night shift management.
Did you ever have somebody try to sleep at the gas station parking lot and you had to go kick them out? And sleeping in their van.
Really, as far as like the gas stations that I worked at, they didn't have loitering policies back at that time. I think they've really only put them in the last handful of years since I haven't been working at gas stations. So it wasn't so much of an issue then. We'd maybe check on them, make sure they're like, we had some drunk people that would like sleep in their car or whatever, and be like, oh yeah, you can't do that because it's like a crime or whatever. So we'd have to get them, get somebody to come pick them up or whatever, because of the intoxication more so than the sleeping. But these like Quick Star and that, they have enforced loitering policies now that they didn't used to have. I worked at Target. I did cell phone repair. I was a credit specialist or whatever. I worked like doing like credit stuff for people. And I worked security. I worked at a casino. So it was just, I kind of did a little bit of this, a little bit of that for those particular times.
Ready for the next question, Sleep Doctor?
For sure.
Okay. John Den wants to know, would you rather go blind, deaf, or bald?
Bald.
Yeah, I think bald's probably an easy choice on that one.
Easy. Too easy.
Kind of need to see and hear for the enjoyment of life. Don't need hair so much. Can just put on a hat.
Yep, exactly.
And there's that classic mower outside. I love announcing when I hear it, even though they can never hear it. It just makes me feel so good to know some guy's out there mowing while I'm having the time of my life in a podcast. What does your diet consist of? I think we mostly covered that, right?
Yeah.
Nunya B says, do you solve mysteries? Back to Scooby-Doo, I suppose.
Do I solve mysteries? Depending on what. I guess not. No, I don't.
It's not a true mystery machine. Ask him thoughts on couples van living and how long do they last? Do you have any experience with, or have you read anything or watched anything with couples that live in a van?
I'm not sure their names, but I've seen it, and now they have like an RV business.
Oh shit! So it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out. Yep.
So
and they lived in a
thoughts.
van, so I feel like women, they like more the luxury, like restrooms and showers or whatnot. So I don't really have that, and I think maybe an RV. I would probably recommend an RV for a couple or something like that, or like a huge, bigger van or something.
Yeah, I guess women, they need more toiletries, I suppose. Men, we're more rugged.
It's understandable.
Yeah. Things women literally cannot understand. Movies about men inside of ships and van life. Those are the top two. Fresh Maggot, what games do you got on your phone?
Games on the phone. I haven't played games on my phone in a while, but maybe like boring stuff. Chess. I play chess on the phone.
Would you play chess against viewers on a live stream?
Yeah,
I think people like that kind of stuff. Yeah. Eggy,
I would
do you know
play
chess? Do you want to go head to head?
I really played it a lot when I was younger and I had more IQ. Nowadays, I'd probably need a refresher course to get back into the game. I mean, I
go watch Queen's
before,
Gambit, jerk off to the underwear scenes, and then you'll have a fresh brain and mind to go head to head with Sleep Doctor in the charity event of the year live stream on both of your channels. Head to head in chess.
Creator Clash.
Yeah, chess creator clash. That's right. iDubbbz is not involved, so it will actually happen. And if you want to practice chess against Sleep Doctor, again, go to his channel and pester him in the chat and remind him, hey, it's chess time. And the AI voice will read it to you. There's only like two more left, I think, and then we'll get out of here. I don't know how this would happen, but Yellow Fever wants to know, or Yellow Fellow wants to know, have you ever been kicked out of your van?
Kicked out of my van?
Yeah, somebody kick you out of your own property?
Never, ever, ever, no.
Dewdrop wants to know, are you happy with the lifestyle, or is there a long-term goal you're striving for?
Nice, that's a good question. So far, I'm happy with my lifestyle. Like, I've only been here for a month, so I feel like I'm in that, what do you call that stage? Is that baby stage?
The
honeymoon stage? Maybe that's what I'm feeling right now. And so everything's so awesome.
I think that happy people are just always in the honeymoon stage their whole life. So maybe it's not just a phase. Maybe it just is a happy thing to do.
I hope so. But future plans, maybe get like a lot of land in the future.
BLM?
And yeah, like just get land, maybe start a RV park or something. Just grow and it's so far. I'm planning to do this for a while, so
you'll
that's
know
it.
all the amenities that a true RVer needs in the park because you lived it. You're not just one of these corporate fat cats. Oh, I'll put down the land in the park right here, and who cares? If you build it, they'll come. That kind of shit.
Exactly.
It's the real deal. And final question from Liquid Dave. Will he be excited for the Skibbity Toilet movie from Michael Bay? Which, I've heard about that before. That might be real.
Is that a real thing? Is that a real thing?
That might be a real thing. Fact checker Aggie is on the case. Thank goodness.
They had like a Screen Rant, whatever article about it, however long ago, but I don't know if I've seen the updates lately. Let's see, what's the latest update? Okay, wait. All right, we actually do have a recent update. We'll take the Forbes article here, nice and official here. Okay, it is official. Michael Bay directs the Skibbity Toilet movie, May 22nd, 2025.
Wow.
Developed by Invisible Narratives, which was founded by former Paramount Pictures head Adam Goodman. Says, quote, Skibbity Toilet will rival the Marvel Universe.
No freaking way, dude.
Are you going to go see this movie in theaters?
If it comes out, I'll see it.
Will you come on our movie review podcast, Is It Kino, and we can all review it together?
Heck yeah, that would be the best.
Let's do it. And if
That's actually a real thing, yeah, I would do it.
Yeah, we review movies pretty much twice a week on this channel now, so if there's anything else coming out, maybe even this summer that you wanted to review, I think we'll be down for anything. We were going to get Emp Lemon for that new Paul Rudd movie, Friendship. Maybe I should hit him up about that. But Sleep Doctor, I think we've come to the end of the podcast. Is there any final thoughts you want to put out into the world, or anything you want to plug other than, I guess, all your channels and TikToks and stuff you should probably plug?
I guess the plug, it's hard to find me right now. I've told people like, oh, find me at Sleep Doctor, but like people can't find me. So I made like a little website called sleepdoctor.media. And you can't look it up on Google. You have to look it up in that search bar in order to find all my social medias. So I guess that's the only thing. And I would say.
And the description of this podcast will have a link to the channel as well. Hopefully, when this goes live, you'll see double digits appear in your chat at the very least. And I think I'll drop this on Thursday. But unfortunately, I do have to finish watching the second half of the film Goodbye, Uncle Tom, because me and Eggy are podcasting about that today. Sneak preview, Eggy. Good movie so far.
It might be the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
I think the second half, I don't know if it's more tolerable or if I just, like, my brain just shut down for the second half, but...
Well, I can't wait. I got to get to that. Sleep Doctor, any final thoughts? And, of course, we will have you on here again if we get some more questions to come in.
Well, I would just like to say thank you guys for having me. It's an honor. It's literally you guys were the first ones to donate.
That's right.
And the first ones to, have me in a podcast. So, it's my first podcast. So I really appreciate you guys kind of having me on. And
I'm glad you drove your van up here to the treehouse, and it's always nice to have a guest. Everybody at home, hey, me and Eggy do a One Piece podcast, reviewing it one volume at a time every week on Mumkey D. Jones. Go subscribe to that. Eggy, do you want to plug anything?
Well, I'll say this, I guess, because I do actually anticipate now that the gambling is fully well and dead, especially within the last 24 hours. I think the kill shot was finally administered. So if you don't know, my YouTube channel is Egg White. It's got like 12.6K. Justin Wang, he just commented on my song I Had Sex with literally every single e-girl in the whole world, including the fat and ugly ones, which was released maybe 5 years ago. He said, I still think about this song often. So I listened. If famous historian Justin Wang was waiting 4 years for this channel to get unbanned, just leave that comment. It's got to be good, and there's more where that came from. So make sure you go smash that subscribe button on that channel.
Peace, people.